So in today's video we'll cover basics of Ingress. So after that we'll have quick demo on my lab environment. So let's get started. So first we need to know about what is the Ingress and role of Ingress. Okay. So Ingress is an object that allows to expose the Kubernetes service to outside the cluster. Okay, this is the main thing. And Ingress basically they have set of rules you can define, so that based on that rule it will it will traffic it will redirect the traffic to the respective service. Okay, so before that we have like a basic understanding of this is required, like I think you guys know about this, like NodePort service, load balancer and ingress. Okay, so basically in the NodePort and load balancer we can access the service outside the cluster, but there is some limitation is there. So the limitation mostly in the load balancer is like, suppose you are running like 50 number of service and you expose the service to the outsider. But in this case, as you know, like the load balancer IP is chargeable in cloud environment. So in this case, so the cloud provider will charge for that 50 number of IP address what is allocated to the service as a load balancer. So this is the problem. So to avoid that problem, we can use Ingress, where we use one single external IP, and using that IP we can expose as many as services using that single IP. Okay, so this is the advantage, like it decouples from the service, and we consolidated all the routing rule in one place. Okay, so you can define the service and define the routing rule in different places. So these are the prerequisites, like first two things is there. One is ingress controller and ingress resource. Okay, so in my case I am going to use NGINX Ingress controller. So after that we'll create one ingress resource. So these are the thing we're going to cover, like basic routing, also path based routing, also host based routing. Okay, we'll have quick demo. So let's jump. You can go through all this document. There's a lot of things available in the public site, so we can jump to the demo. So this is my lab environment. I'm running one virtual machine inside VirtualBox, and the Kubernetes is installed in that machine. So this is the single node cluster, and my control plane is running on 26 IP address. Okay, so let me go through this document. So how to install this engine, as we discussed, this ingress have two components. One is controller, another is ingress resource. Okay, so in the controller, when the client first request comes to your service, it first come to your controller. Okay, so the controller will redirect the traffic as per the rule defined in this component, ingress resource. Okay, the rule is defined at here. Okay, so we'll discuss that part. Before that, one load balancer should be involved. Installed, like in my case I already installed one load balancer which provide the IP address, that is the MetalLB system. You can call, we already covered that in previous video. You can go through that one. So let me go ahead to install one ingress. So I can pick this version, like this version. Let me go ahead to install this one. After that, lot of components will be. Okay, get namespace. You can see one new namespace is getting created, that is the ingress NGINX. So we can see the ports will be created in that namespace. As we know, there is two component, controller and ingress resource. get all. Yeah, now you can see one NGINX controller is running. Okay, and we need to create the resource. Okay, and one of the important thing you can notice for the NGINX controller, there is they define the service type as this is the service. Okay, this is as load balancer. So now you are getting the load balancer. So in this case it is on-premise environment. So your MetalLB system is providing this load balancer IP. Okay, so if you did not cover it, you can go through that video. Okay, so okay, get something IP address. I think we need to pass the namespace. Yeah, I already defined one IP address full range from 232 to 250. Okay, same to my cluster network. Okay, so that's why it is allocated the first IP, that is 230. Okay, so let me go ahead, as our NGINX controller is ready. So let me go ahead with create the resource. Okay, NGINX resource, this part. Okay, so for that I already have some of the files available. So as I told, like we are going to cover these three type of routing. Okay, first the basic routing, like expose a single service to external traffic. Then we can expose multiple service using the path based and host based. Okay, so let me go ahead to apply this one. First we are going to simple ingress, and the ingress resource you can deploy in a namespace. Okay, so in my case I'm going to deploy this namespace. This is the dev namespace. Okay, first we can check is there anything ingress or something running. Okay, -n dev get all. You can see no application related to ingress is running. Some of the MySQL is running, so it is used for other purpose. Okay, we can skip that one. So let me go ahead to install some ingress application. So for that, this is the file. This is the simple ingress. So where I defined one pod, that is the NGINX pod. This is the basic web server application, and I expose that using the service. Okay, this is the service. I use the selector. Okay, so this is the main component. This is the ingress resource. Okay, so ingress resource, the kind should be ingress and ingress name. Then after that, as we are using ingress controller, that the NGINX and ingress controller, so that's why the class name should be NGINX. Okay, so after that you can define one host. Okay, so this, when in the user accessing this host externally, then it will redirect the traffic to this service. Okay, this is the backend service. Okay, and the port number is here, and this is basically, as I told, like we can define the rule at the ingress resource. So this is the resource. Okay, and we define the rule at here. Okay, so let me go ahead and apply this one. Okay, -n, as we can apply this to the specific namespace, this resource. Apply -n NGINX deployment. Now we -n dev get pod. Now we can see that application started running within 10 seconds. Okay, because the earlier the images are available, that's why it take very less time. Okay, so you can see what are the service. The service is exposed here. Okay, this one, the service. Then the important thing you can check, like get ingress. Now we can see whatever ingress we define, this is the ingress name that is coming here, and the class is, we are implementing the ingress NGINX Ingress, so that's why the class is coming here, and our host name, whatever host name we defined here, that one is coming here, and it is, as we already discussed, it is sharing one single IP which is assigned to controller. Okay, so how to check one? This is the controller, get service. This is the controller IP, NGINX controller IP. Using this IP, you can expose as many service using ingress resource. This is the first resource we created. Similarly, we can create as many as resource which is pointing to different services, but they are using single IP address. Okay, so this is the thing. So let me go ahead to access this service. So before that, you need to make a entry in the your DNS or in your local etc host file. If you don't have, I think I already have added that one, etc host file. You can see for this ingress, I already, this is the ingress host name. Okay, this need to be added in your etc host file. Okay, so you can see I make an entry like this is my controller IP, and this is the ingress resource name. Okay, similarly, if you want to create another service and expose it to using ingress resource, then you can add like that. Okay, using space. Okay, so I added this one, so I can access using curl. So this is one NGINX application web server is running, so we can check. Now we can see when I crawl that application, you can get the whatever application deployed like NGINX application, web server, you can see that page. Okay, so that means without IP address you can access that service. Let me go ahead to deploy another service also. Okay, so another service, this is another service I'm going to deploy. Very simple application, like I have created two applications. One is Awful application and the service for the Awful application, another pod for the Banana application. So basically it will display some echo message like whatever thing you passed, like text is equal to Awful, so that will be displayed. Okay, like that. Okay, so similarly another service is Banana service. Okay, they are exposed in 5, 6, 7, 8 port. Okay, so let me deploy this simple application. K-n dev apply -m f apply. Basically this will create the two application deployment, one pod and the service. Okay, you can check that one. Get pod, you can see two pod is created, one Apple and Banana, then also service. Okay, get service, respective to service also created, but we are not exposing the individual service. This is the important point. Like earlier you see in the load balancer type service, if you expose that service, definitely you get the external IP address, but in this case we are not getting external IP address for the each of the service. Okay, till now we have exposed 3 services. Okay, but we did not expose it at external IP, so that's why no external IP provision from the MetalLB. Okay, so let me create one ingress resource. So before that you can check the ingress resource. Only one ingress resource defined for this service, example service. Okay, so let me go ahead to cover this demo, that is path based or host based routing. Okay, so I have created one file, that is, first we can go ahead for the path based. So this is the path based routing ingress. You need to define the ingress resource for each of the service you want to expose. Okay, so this is Ingress, I have named it as like path ingress. The host name is like fruit.com, and if you pass the argument like Apple, it will redirect your traffic to the Apple service on this port number. Okay, and if you pass the like, this is the common name, host name. Okay, and after that if you put the path like banana, then will redirect to this service. So this is the path based routing. Okay, so let me go ahead to apply this file. You can see how it will work. Okay, dev apply -f path based ingress. Okay, so we expect another ingress should be created. Now you can see earlier one ingress was there, that is the host name is example ingress, like the simple ingress. Now you can see one path based ingress is coming. Okay, and the name is fruits.com. Okay, so you can check the description, describe ingress name and your namespace as it deployed to some specific namespace. So I put the host name, so the ingress name should be, you can put in the description. You can see the host for this ingress. We define the host name is this one, so the application is hit and the outsider will hit this URL. Then if they pass the this path, then the application will redirect to, the traffic is redirected to this one. Okay, and because it is defined in our rules file, that is the ingress rules section. Okay, banana, then this service is coming. Okay, so let me go ahead to check this one. First we can make a entry in etc host file. So I already make an entry etc host file. If you are using DNS, it's fine also. You can see the first line, I already added this one. Okay, so we can crawl that application. So application is hosted on this one, this fruit.com. Then if I pass this path, that is Apple, let's see what message is coming. Okay, now we can see the message is coming from the Apple application, that is this service. Okay, you can go through the entire pod and the service deployment of this application so that you can get some idea. Then if I hit the same URL with banana, then you can see this banana message is coming from banana service, not the Apple service. Okay, so this is basically your path based routing. Okay, now we can go ahead to create one host based routing. Okay, all the basic concept we can get from the public site, like what is the path and host based routing, but this demo basically focus on the practical thing. Okay, so let me go ahead to create another ingress. Yeah, so here I'm planning to reuse the same application what we deployed for the path based routing, going to reuse that application. So that's why it will reduce our time for the demo. Okay, so I define another ingress, that is the host ingress. For each of the application you should make an entry for the host name. Okay, like for the Apple service I want to hit this URL, applefruits.com. so this path is not required, but as our application designed like that way, so you can use this one, otherwise this path is not required. Okay, simple path slash is enough, but our application itself in the pod you can see when we pass some message. Okay, so that's why I passed, otherwise it's not required. Okay, so similarly for the banana application, you can directly mention the banana.fruit.com. okay, so you no need to mention the path, so automatically based on this host name it will redirect your traffic to this service. Okay, that is the difference, is that here we have two host entry for each of the application. Okay, but in pathbase you have only one host entry, but based on different path it will redirect the traffic. Okay, let me go ahead to create this ingress. Same thing like k-n def. Let me check the ingress. Get ingress, you can see another entry is there. Okay, there is two entry. If you describe this one, describe ingress, yeah, you can see earlier there is path waste. You can compare here, like path waste difference. You can, yeah, for the path waste you can see only one host entry there, and based on different path it redirected the traffic. Okay, but you can see what is the difference of in host based routing. In host based you can see two entries for the each of the service or the host. Okay, so if you pass this one, then it will redirect to this traffic, and if you pass this host, then it will redirect to this service. Okay, so similarly you need to make entry of these two hosts inside the etc host file. Okay, so let me try to access this one. curl output. I think this application is not allowing for the slash, because we pass some message. Okay, so that's right, otherwise this path is not required, this apple path. Okay, because we design our application like that way. Now you can see we are getting this message. Okay, so similarly if you hit banana host, we expect this service is coming. Okay, so this is the basic difference between host based and path based routing in Ingress. Okay, so if you want to delete all this, clear all these things, you can delete -f, then your this namespace. Okay, so you can see one important thing is that whatever you Ingress created, the same IP address is shared by all of them. Okay, so this is the controller IP address. Okay, yeah, so anything left? I think nothing left. Yeah, so this is all about this today's demo for the Ingress. We'll see you in the next video in any other session.